Woo! Coming through quite quiet. I ain't seen a hater in about a minute in a bowl game, baby. Do you believe now? Bowl game, check. I've been trying to tell y'all, the bowl game was never the goal. That was just a stepping stone to what's been going down. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna break this game down. Going bowling. Travis Hunter. It's Travis Hunter. Did we expect anything less? Absolutely not. Roll that intro, baby. Let's get into it. Woo! Good luck.
I flushed my juice down in the club.
34-23 Buffs handle business in Cincinnati. Look, we're going to break this game down and give my full thoughts and opinions about it. All in all, I liked how the game went. I have not concerns. It felt like at times they just kind of got bored. I just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, this is too easy. Where's the competition at? When I've been talking about this, it's like, look, the Cincinnati offense is what concerned me, and they showed at times they're able to flash, but defensively, I didn't think they'd be able to contain Colorado, and they had a few times where they did. It really felt like Colorado was trying to just try shit. You know? They're like, let's see if this thing works. Let's see if that works. That was kind of their agenda, it felt like, because they could. That's how confident they felt last night in that game, that they could just kind of do what they wanted and with what their will allowed them to do. But congrats to Miss Peggy for getting them to a bowl game. She's bowling since 2020, and I believe that it was even longer before that. But look, Coach Prime said in interviews, we want to go to a primetime bowl. You know what I'm saying? Not just a bowl game, but a big time bowl game. I've been saying that playoffs, all these things are legitimately within reach. Now, he said in his press conference, don't rank us. Coach Prime said this, and I understand why he said that. We don't want to be in your radar. We like to be under the radar. Continue to ignore us. Continue to make us underdogs. We'll continue to get it done. And I love that. I'm all for it. Big fan of that. However, if you take a look at the standings, they never really make a whole lot of sense. Alabama was ranked, I think, 11th with 2 losses in front of A&M, who had 1 loss, and in front of, not LSU, but in front of A&M, and it just, all because of where they started at, right? A&M started at 25th. They lost a game. Then they've been undefeated ever since. So wherever you stand will affect where you finish. That makes sense. They're not very good at just plucking people in. I've never been a huge fan of that because people are carrying weight that they started with. Like FSU, again, started 10th. Now they've completely obliterated that, but that shouldn't carry weight with it. So my reason for this, and we'll get into it, is they need to be ranked this week because the ability to make the Big 12 championship is still out of their control. They don't have control on that, and my concern is there isn't enough competition to play the teams that are in front of them in the Kansas States, the Iowa State, and BYU. No, I think only one of the 3 play each other, but still, it doesn't matter, right? Because that would still allow 3 teams in front of them. None of them play one another, and the teams that they have to all face that are left are not daunting enough to make me feel comfortable that, hey, they're going to make a Big 12 championship to get them in. They could be sitting in a good place. If they finish went out and go 10-2, they don't have to go to a Big 12 championship. The Big 12 championship beats each other up. It could get a little dicey. This thing could get finicky here. It's going to come down to the strength of schedule for the Buffs. But they want to be ranked as soon as possible so they can start nitpicking away to get to close to that 12 mark. Keep that in mind. I understand where Coach Prime is coming. Don't want that, but just how the logistics work. You kind of want to be in the crowd's eye so you can slowly start creeping up with each big win as they move forward. Travis Hunter. I talked about it, man. Ashton Jeanty, I thought he really pulled away, but and then I see Travis Hunter play, and I forget about Ashton Jeanty. Both sides of the ball, I think he had 130 snaps. He played 1 off after he got that wicked tackle after that incredible catch. They kind of slung him down a little bit, and he took off. 9 receptions, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 2 tackles, and 4 pass defended. Almost had an interception. Those numbers are surreal. If you individualize those numbers, those are insane. If you just told me he had 9 catches for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns, we'd be talking about him. If you told me he had 2 tackles, 4 pass play breakups, and just watch what he did on defense, we'd be talking about him. You know what I'm saying? That is what's crazy to me. This guy has 2 primetime players on both sides of the ball in a single game. In a single game. It is going to be so hard. I do not feel I don't feel I'm not envious of the people that make this vote. I really am not. Ashton Dinty had a weird, he had 128 yards, quiet game for him. On honestly, in the last game against UNLV. I don't think he said it took a step back by any stretch, but if the Buffs keep doing what they're doing, I told you, they got to win. Boise State right now, they're on that precipice of making it into, but they're a little bit different category, of making it into a playoff. That's going to carry weight as well, intended, again, to the voters' eyes with that Heisman talk. But look, that's far on the road, game by game. I understand all of these things, but it's just my head's spinning watching this thing unfold, bro. The haters are in turmoil. You know what I mean? I mean, they're in complete shambles right now. I haven't seen a one, dude. There used to be like your consistent just a-holes that would come in here and just spew nonsense. They are just gargling right now. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? They can't handle what is happening right now. They hate being right. I get it. Sucks to suck. Sucks to suck. I've set everybody up all season long with BetUS.com, right? I've been telling y'all about this all season long. I told you to smash the over 5.5. I told you to smash it. Never a question. If you did, if you went to BetUS.com and used the code YouTube150 to get back 150% on your first deposit and then 125 on your next two, up to $2,000, you're welcome. If you hammered the money line or the -4 or 6 or whatever it ended up being last night against Cincinnati, like I told you to, I told you it would be probably like, I would say like a 10 to 14 point difference. I was hoping for 37-18. They kind of got a last little touchdown there. But I told you, double-digit win. I mean, I'm dialed in. I'm dialed in when it comes to this. I'm trying to help you out. I'm here for the people. Here for the people. Cincinnati, look, people want to try to kind of brush that off as like, oh, it's Cincinnati. Cincinnati had 2 losses for it. Their 2 losses, the score combined to 4 points. They lost one game by 1 point to an undefeated Pittsburgh team, by the way. Okay? Then they lost by 3 points. They missed to Texas Tech in an absolute shootout. They lost by 10 last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the difference. This Colorado team has looked fantastic. Now, let's get into this Colorado team. Let's look about the numbers. Let's break it down, get my thoughts and opinions about it. What I love, and I said it earlier in the show, I felt like they were just trying stuff. 123 yards. They really made it an emphasis to run the football last night. And Shedeur Sanders casually threw for 323 yards at will. It was like, all right, we need to move the ball. Let me sling it really quick. You know what I mean? They were really a big focus on how can we get this ball rolling? How can we get this line more repetition with running the football, carrying the football? And they made it was a really well-balanced offense. And it really felt, again, at times that Shedeur was kind of just like getting a little bored and a little, I would say, complacent. Because it was just like, this is too easy. You know what I mean? Like, we're coming out here doing what we need to do. Like, I'm not running for my life, trying to look for certain players, that's what it felt like. I'm not saying that he did that. I just think there was so much confidence. The line has been a complete wall of boulder. Jordan Seaton looked phenomenal again. The defense, there were some times where I was concerned because they were getting tore up on the real routes, the outside runs. Those are some concerns hopefully they'll go into. I believe they have a bye week this week. They'll go into this bye and focus on because, look, teams will kind of notice that and try to continue to expose those areas of need with those things. So I got a little worried there, right? Cincinnati scores at the end. They're starting to make a little bit of a comeback. Colorado's finding themselves in this kind of complacency kind of feel. And I'm like, don't get bored. Put the hammer down, get it done. And it was kind of like, well, they were trying to just run the clock out and get through this. Like they knew they had it in the bag. And I like it. I like the new approach to this. The whole team mindset of this team it just continues to impress me and look different week in and week out, which I've enjoyed. It continues to grow and mature as it moves forward. But there was a little bit of, again, hey, dude, we can't have that consistently. You don't want that complacency to carry over into the next game. Not that I'd say that it will. It hasn't yet. They've looked good week in and week out. And I think this bye comes at a perfect time going into the last stretch of games here that are going to need a lot of attention, a lot of focus. Kansas played Kansas State really well last night, but that's a rivalry game. You expect those kind of things. Texas Tech, I think, is going to be similar to the Cincinnati game where Texas Tech has the ability to score at will. But I'm telling you, this Colorado defense, I think, is probably one of the best defenses in the Big 12. And I think it's going to give a lot of guys some fits. I think Iowa State has a good defense as well alongside BYU. But I think offensively, I would love to see what both of these teams will be able to, or this team will be able to do against any of those teams. I would put Colorado against Iowa State. At one point, again, I told you there was teams that I was concerned and I circled about. There isn't a team that I'm concerned about in the Big 12 anymore. I think if Colorado played Nebraska today, I think they steamroll them. I think Colorado still should have beat Kansas State. I think those injuries had a big factor into that. But Look, all in all, again, very, very happy with the game. Shedeur Sanders played a much cleaner game. We had 3 kind of takeaways on our autograph app where I wanted Shedeur to play a clean game. I think he was perfect at one point during the game. Let me see his player stats here. He was 25 of 30 for 323. I think that's pretty damn good, if you ask me. And what was crazy, again, it didn't feel like Shedeur Sanders did that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like he threw maybe 18 times. It's just because how just calm. Again, 22 carries and 10 carries. They ran the ball almost over 30 times. They really put a focus on trying to run the ball on the ground, which I really appreciated. I really enjoyed watching that, trying to implement that balance. And again, it really feels like the team is taking a transition of like, we are here for the long haul. The trench work has improved dramatically week in and week out, and you got to think that speaks volumes to recruits. And he's doing this with guys that they went out after the portal. I mean, it's really incredible to watch. The quarterback room, again, I think Juju is going to be an interesting one. I see a lot of guys in the comments, hey, we don't want Juju. I think you guys are right. I think they're going to really go after a portal quarterback to continue the success. Somebody with some experience. Hopefully they can get a quarterback and have him as a backup so they can slowly develop them and get somebody like what Shedeur is for the Buffs for a couple of years. But, I think the biggest takeaway for me is just don't get that complacent at the end. I felt like they had it in the bag. And Shiloh Sanders had a moment where he grabbed the young man's foot. Come on, Shiloh. You can't be doing that. I loved, because here's the thing. Coach Prime and these guys, they get criticized that he doesn't hold his sons accountable and all these things, which we know he's done plenty of times, called him out when he sucked. They pulled him out immediately, sat him for a couple of plays. Like, that's how you handle that situation. And look, Shiloh, they call him, headache. That's what you... Like that's what you want him for. Like, he's there to disrupt things. He's there to get in the head. Sometimes it goes over the line a little bit. I don't hate it, but you have to, like, hey, you got to know better. My favorite part of the day, which I hated, was the piece from Jimmy Horn. Incredible. Like, I hate that we can't do that. Like, that, it kills me to my bones that you took a touchdown away because of that. That is crazy to me. That is blasphemy to me. I understand that the rules, I'm not saying that, like, what have you, but that is a dumb ass rule. That is the dumb, like, it had zero cause to the game. Let them have fun. If your feelings get hurt in the middle of the game, you shouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? If you can score and do all kinds of nonsense after the fact, we got guys like pop, 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 but I can't go like this when I'm running by you because your ass is slow. You got to be kidding me. I couldn't believe it. I go, you got this. This is stupid. This is so stupid. We got so damn soft and so dumb as stuff, man. I couldn't believe it. But anywho, 6-2. Buffs are going bowling. They're rock and rolling. They're feeling good. Again, good time to head into the bye week here for the Buffs. And then after that, Texas Tech, Utah, which that game does not concern me at all anymore. Kansas at Kansas, and then Colorado versus Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State is, look, their run game is very good. And I still think they have to continue to focus on the rush defense. That is a big focus. The quarterback play corner is surreal. Preston Hodge, oh my, such a treat. Such a treat. It's fun to watch, man. It really is. I think the secondary play is really something that'll keep them in, and it just disrupts a lot of quarterbacks. They've got time, but it's like it doesn't matter because like the cornerbacks are stuck to the receiver's hips like glue. Do you know what I mean? Anywho, great game by the Buffs. Another big W there. That they keep on rolling. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How you're feeling about it. How you're feeling about going bowling for the Buffs. Love to hear from you. Be sure to smash the like button. Subscribe. The show is brought to you by, of course, BetUS. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and love, baby.